Hey YouTube, what's up? So today, obviously as you can see from the thumbnail, we got another deck list for you guys, and it's Fire Aggro Xander. So you might be wondering, how much better did Fire Aggro Xander actually get? We've seen Aggro Xander top events before. Lux and Xander's kind of taken over the spotlight a little bit from it, but it's still a very good deck, and in MRC it got even better. And not even with that many cards. It's only a couple changes, but those couple changes make a huge difference. So let's jump in because the most important changes is right in the material deck. So Fire Spirit, or Spirit of Fire, nothing new there, makes sense. We're not gonna go anything crazy with that. Xander Prepared Scout, a level 1, and Xander Deft Executioner, Prepared Scout, giving us that, that nice glimpse too, which can help, cycle a couple cards that we don't want to see when we're about to draw for turn. And of course, more importantly, the preparation counter. And then Xander level 2, honestly, just there mainly to give us that option if we need to get another prep counter, or maybe another 2 prep counters, but also draw a card back from our graveyard to help, finish off the game maybe. And then the, most important combo of the deck, we have Quicksilver Grail and Poison Dagger. So this is the combo. This is just here to keep this safe. Will say in MRC, it's a little harder to keep Poison Dagger safe, but this is a very good option still to do so. It's very hard for people to hold up enough cards to prevent you from doing, this combo, which has been around for, basically since Quicksilver Grail came out. Then the most important cards probably in the material deck. So we've seen Verucan Soul Knife. Verucan Soul Knife is such a good card, right? We get rid of 3 fire cards from our graveyard, allows us to bring this out in our material phase, and then we can do stuff with either swing with it, with something like Rending Flames, or maybe more importantly, Blazing Throw. So Verucan Soul Knife, just a very solid card. And then we got the new card, and this is one of those cards I was talking about that is like the main change to the deck that makes it so much better is Mercenary's Blade. So Mercenary's Blade is a Regalia Assassin Dagger, is also a 0-cost 1/1, just like Verucan Soul Knife. But with this guy, you may remove a preparation counter from your champion to activate this card from your deck. So in your main phase, you can remove that prep counter that we're getting from, being Xander level 1, and then bring this out. It's a very simple way to get another dagger out to also either use with Rending, or you use with a different attack, or again, Blazing Throw. So we now have 2 really easy options we can Blazing Throw because they're just 1/1 weapons. And with something like Mercenary's Blade, you can go have a fire card or 2 in your graveyard, mostly 2. Use Mercenary's Blade, bring it out in your main phase, and then Blazing Throw it. Now we have 3 fire cards in our graveyard. We can get rid of all 3, bring out Verucan Soul Knife, and now we can Blazing Throw Verucan Soul Knife. So very strong in just simple cards, but this one change makes Fire Aggro Xander so much better, so much stronger, and more consistent that it's kind of crazy. But let's continue with the material deck. We do have a Sword of Seeking. Sword of Seeking is just a really good card. It's a 0-cost 1/2 that we can bring out, help get a couple extra points of damage. Again, another great Blazing Throw target, so that's why we run that. Assassin's Ripper. Assassin's Ripper is kind of an insane card in terms of how much power it can bring to the table. 1-cost 1/2. You can rest this, remove a preparation counter, and this gets +2 attack. So this becomes a 3/2 weapon with Rending Flames that's already hitting for 3. Plus this is 6, and then it's doubled with Rending Flames, so you're actually hitting for 12 with Assassin's Ripper. That's why it's in here, because of those really strong turns where you're like, I just don't know if I can get there, but suddenly you have Assassin's Ripper on board, and you have a Rending Flames in hand for turn. You have exactly enough just to use all of it at once and crack your opponent for 12. And then, no surprise here with the Baubles. Because we're not running GCR, because we have that Grail, Baubles are pretty much essential to any aggro deck, and having the option to go into any of these. Now, I will say, even with, because of the sideboard changes, this does feel a little worse, but you still have enough room to swap these out when needed, depending on what you're playing against. So that is the material deck. Let's go on to the main deck, which is a huge chunk of allies. So the first ally being Arthur. So nothing crazy here. Again, any fire ally deck, or any fire deck that runs allies wants to run Arthur. It allows you to have an amazing turn 1 play going first, that you can just rest it, keep it immortal, keep it safe. And that allows it to just essentially, survive to really make your next allies even stronger. So that's why we're running a 4 of that guy. We are running only 2 Crimson Tears. This is a very, very strong card. It did get a little worse with MRC because there's other allies that are automatons more, and this does more damage against humans, but still very good because every champion currently is a human. So as long as you're not spirit. So being level 1 and going into any champion that's leveled up will help this guy be a 3 attacker. If you have Arthur on the board, it's a 4 attacker. 4 attack is insane in this game. So very strong card there. It is only a 2 of because it is something you only want to see 1 or 2 of in a game. You don't really want to see a ton of them, and we have other options in our deck that just usually are a little better. Running 4 Hasty. Hasty allows us to put a little ally on the board. If it's with Arthur, again, getting that +1 attack. But it's more importantly cycling our deck and putting cards that we don't want into our graveyard. Hopefully either Floating Memory or Fire cards, which is pretty much our entire deck is just those things. So getting another Fire card in the graveyard so we can Farouk and Soul Knife more easily, so we can Rending Flames more easily, is very, very good. Next up, we have a new change to the deck, which is Captivating Cutthroat. This card is insane. This is a 2-cost 2/1, and then it gets +1, which is a class bonus, which is Assassin, so obviously we're getting that. And so it becomes a 2-cost 3/1, and then on attack deals 1 damage to your champion. That 1 damage, honestly, is chunk change. Having a 2-cost 3/1 when we're level 1 Xander, and if we have an Arthur out, it's a 2-cost 4/1, is so good. It is so strong. It allows you to push more damage than this deck has done faster ever before. Definitely a 4 of in the deck. Next is Korhazi Courier. I mean, this has been in Fire Xander forever. It is probably one of your best allies. It allows you to cycle, deal extra damage. When on the Poison Dagger turn, it's hitting for 4. If you have an Arthur out, it's hitting for 5. Again, that is insane. It has stealth automatically, so it's a little sticky, hard to get rid of. Even though people are running some, stealth hate, this is still a very, very good card to have in the deck. We also run 4 Manic Zealot. This is an Assassin Automaton, 2-cost 1/1. When it dies, deals 2 damage to yourself and to your opponent's champion. That again, with Fire Xander, you're either winning or losing by turn like 3 or 4 at the latest. Sometimes even turn 2 and turn 3, you can still get them. So having this deal 2 damage to yourself, again, isn't that big a deal. There's a lot of stuff in this deck that is dealing self-damage. Manic Zealot being one of them, Cutthroat being one of them, Clumsy, which we'll get to, also being another one of them. And so against other fast decks, it is a little scary. But the fact that this one is mirrored and it's still going to do more damage to your enemy champion than it is going to do to yourself, basically, because you get that 1 attack from it as well, is still very, very good. We also run 4 Rococo. I mean, 1 cost, deal possibly 3, and pretty easily because you're going such low hands that you're going to be dealing that 2 damage from it and having the 1 attack, that's 3 damage for 1 cost. If you have a Dagger out, it's hitting for 3 with its on-enter and 2 from its attack. So it's a 1-cost, deal 5 damage. Again, that is a bonkers stat line to have in this game when we're doing those kind of turns. Again, if you have Arthur out, it's even more. So Rococo, need a 4 of, don't go anywhere without it. It's very, very strong. We played 2 Blazing Bowmen. This is kind of like our 3rd and 4th Crimson Tier, or our Crimson Tiers are our 3rd and 4th Blazing Bowmen. They're kind of interchangeable. If you have a lot of fire cards in the drop, this is very good. You have a Blazing Bowman in hand, you can at least use one of those fire cards in your graveyard. Maybe you don't have enough to bring out a Farouk and Soul Knife, but maybe on this turn you're able to Blazing throw your Mercenary's Blade, and now you have a fire card for Blazing Bowman to do that 3 costs 4 damage. Again, very strong. If you have an Arthur out, it's 5 damage. Can't be retaliated, so it can also just remove stuff, like an Aeson or whatnot. Their last fire ally card that we're running is Clumsy Apprentice. Clumsy Apprentice, everyone knows her. 2 costs 1/1. Whatever stat line, honestly, it's there for if you're able to get some little free damage and then cool. But mainly is there to put an ally on board and then replace itself with its on-enter, which is the draw the card. Again, that 2 damage to yourself is a little scary. That's why we're running 3 of them. Because honestly, you'd rather put a stronger ally on board or have a different card, but still a very good option, and especially in those slower matchups. Definitely another card that you can, sideboard in a 4th of if it's in a slower matchup. So that's why we're running 3 there. 4 Lurking Assailant. Lurking is just, it's one of the best allies. It's on par with any ally deck that has a Gildas in it is also running like a Lurking Assailant. This deck doesn't have a Gildas in it, but still running Lurking Assailant. That's to tell you how good Lurking Assailant is. It has that stealth while it's awake, so you can turn 1 play it, keep it up, and so on your next turn, when you're going first, On your next turn, this is up and awake, or you can just attack with it. It's alive usually. It has that level 1 retaliating, which does come up. You know, if you're able to play around that and your opponent isn't playing around it, it literally can win you games. So very strong card. 3-drop 2/3s are just very strong, and that one's above par for 3-drop 2/3s. And then a new card, Sable Remnant. This is, I believe, a Tristan exclusive card. I'm going to say that with a caveat. I believe that is, or an asterisk. I believe that is true. Doesn't look like much. It's a 2-cost 1/1. You know, we had a lot of Xander decks ran Honorable Vanguard for that 2-cost 1/2 and has floating memory. This also is a 2-cost 1/1 though. Has floating memory, no class bonus, but when you are Assassin, is a 2-cost 2/1. And a 2-cost 2/1 with floating memory is obviously, especially in an aggro deck, much more powerful than a 2-cost 1/2. And yeah, while there is class bonus, honestly, that's all it needs. You know, if this wasn't class bonus, it'd probably be a broken card that we ran in like every single deck that ever goes aggro. So we're okay with that class bonus being there for that extra attack. And you're going into level 1 pretty much no matter what, because you need that Assassin, Poison Dagger class bonus. So this is a very, very strong card. Don't underestimate this card. It is a 4-of in here for a reason. It's that floating memory that if they kill it off early, you just go into level 1, awesome. If they don't kill it off, it's becoming a 2/1, and then it becomes a threat that they do have to remove. So Sable Remnant is a very, very strong card. Now we're going to go into some of our burn spells in the deck, which is, you know, Blazing Throw. Normally, sometimes it's a 2-of, or more likely a 3-of in, you know, aggro Xander decks. But in this deck, we are going to run as a 4-of. This card is so insane. I already talked about it with the Mercenary Blade and Verucan Soul Knife, but we have 4 weapons. We can technically throw all of these if we ever wanted to. And there's been games where I've definitely easily thrown 2, both knives, and a third for the blazing, because I had 3 of them in hand, and on one turn I was like, I did both of these, and then on the next turn I brought Sword of Seeking, hit him for 1, and then Blazing threw it away as well. So we run a 4-of because this is now one of the best cards in the entire deck. It was still very good before, but now it's even better. We run, of course, 4-of Planet Explosive. This shouldn't be a surprise to anyone. Prep counter, you know, deal 2, or cost 2, but then you get to deal 4 damage. Poison Dagger turn is dealing 5. This compared with, or I should say, in conjunction with Mark the Target is also very good. You're getting that prep counter. Mark the Target got a little bit better because it allows us to bring out the Verucan Soul Knife, you know, even if we have a Planet Explosive. So now we have more uses for our preparation counter. This is even more needed. Very, very strong card. Don't leave any aggro Xander list without it. And then our final burn card and new card of the deck is, well, not our final new card, but another new card of the deck is Vermilion Decree. So we had Creative Shock in here originally. A lot of Fire Xanders ran Creative Shock, and it's still an exceptional card to put into this deck. But we have a little bit of a newer card that we have been testing, and it has felt pretty good, basically on par with Creative Shock, specifically in Fire Aggro Xander, because we run so many Fire cards. I think we are only running maybe 11 non-Fire cards. And Vermilion Decrees Imbue 3 is not necessarily a restriction, it's just part of the card that we can easily, achieve. It allows us to deal 3 damage to a target champion and deal 2 damage to up to 1 target ally. Or sometimes just draw an extra card and replace itself. You know, that might not seem like too much, but 3-cost deal 3 is kind of like, oh, it's on a low side, but, you know, something with our Manic Zealot, if we, combine it with our Manic Zealot in here, we are then getting a 3-drop, deal 3 damage, this swings for 1, and then we can kill off our own Manic Zealot to deal an additional 2. So now it's a 3-drop deal 5 that we didn't really have too much requirement other than have a Manic Zealot on board. Or sometimes we need to kill off something on their board, and we're able to do that as well. I mean, it kills off a Swift Recruit, it kills off a Stalwart, and that allows us to push more damage face as well. So Vermilion Decree, very, very good card. Kind of a unique card, and it is an SR from the new set, so try to pick it up if you can. I know MRC cards are a little hard to come by sometimes right now with the current market, but still very, very good card. Then, no one's surprised, we're running Rending Flames. Rending Flames, very good, very strong, deals a lot of damage when they don't have any way to block any or prevent any of the damage from it. With Assassin's Ripper, like I said, it's coming in for 12 if you're able to get that prep counter on it. So Rending Flames, we're all running a 3-of because, honestly, we're able to go fast enough without it that sometimes we just don't need it, but it is there for those times where, hey, I can just Rending Flames for 12 or even 6 or 8 on this turn. Might as well do it because I'll just win the game on the next turn. And our last card of the deck and a new card of the deck is Vicious Slice. So this is a 1-drop 2 attack, and if you are Assassin, as long as you are attacking a human, it actually becomes a 1-cost 3 attack. This replaces Ignited Stab. So because we want that prep counter for Mercenary's Blade and for Planet Explosive, which was always a hard thing to work around in a Fire Aggro Xander deck, is having enough prep counters. This essentially helps with that. We don't have to run Ignited Stab because yeah, it's 1 less damage, but still that 1 cost, and it's still dealing 3. But it's dealing 3 damage when Ignited Stab sometimes only dealt 2 because you didn't have enough prep counters to even use it. So using Vicious Slice, maybe we don't even have a Blazing Throw in hand, but we can still bring out that dagger, and now we can swing for 4 because now we have 2 daggers in our deck that we can use. This is a very, very strong card. It makes, again, like the deck more consistent. It feels like it's going faster. It feels like this is less of a dead card than Ignited Stab did feel like sometimes in the deck. You can still run Ignited Stab, but these are both, I believe both are commons. This is a common, I believe Ignited Stab was too. So definitely test it out. Let me know how you guys feel. Let me know how this deck, if you guys are going to build it, let me know how you guys, how it feels in your hands, how it's been testing for you. If you are a Fire Aggro Xander player, let me know below. But that's all I have for you for today, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace. I couldn't speak in the last 5 seconds.